Hey everyone, today we are going to see how to build a serverless application using SSDK CLI. Serverless application allow you to access SurveySparrow events and perform some actions on it. So what we are going to build here is we are going to integrate Brevo with SurveySparrow in such a way that every time a contact gets created in SurveySparrow, that same contact will also be created in Brevo. That is what we are going to build today. So first thing that you need to do is go to this brevo.com website and sign up for a free account. After that, you will be redirected to this dashboard over here. And also, the next thing you have to do after you create the brevo.com, just go to your application. So I've created an empty directory called Brevo application, and I've opened it on the VS Code over here. Now in this location, you should run the command ssdk create, and also make sure that you're in an empty directory, otherwise this command won't work. Now it's asking us to choose a product. Let's click on SurveySparrow. The next thing is click on your first serverless app, because that is what we are building now. Now if you can, as you can see here, there are few files, which is one is manifest.json, and you can see there is something called events over here. So what does this denote? SurveySparrow has a lot of events. There is on submission complete, that is what's mentioned here. There is on contact create, there is on ticket create, and so much more. If you want to see the list of all the events, just go to this website over here, sdk.surveysparrow.dev, and in there, if you click on the serverless page here and scroll down a little more, you will find the list of all the events that we have here, and make sure to go through all of them, and you can use this in the serverless application. Now in the server.js, you can see there is a handler function called on submission complete. So what does the server.js denote is every serverless task that you write should be on the server.js page. Any handler functions or anything that you need to configure should be within the server.js exports object here. Okay, so this on submission complete is nothing but a customized function name, that is user defined function name. What's important here is if you go to the manifest.json, you will find this on submission complete event. This is the event name, and this is the handler name. So every time this on submission complete event gets triggered in SurveySparrow, that on submission complete event is nothing but every time a response is submitted on a survey. So every time a response is submitted on a survey, this on submission complete function will start to run. That's the entire purpose of this events over here. And there are various other events as well. One is the one that we're going to use today is on contact create, and we need an handler function, right? The function that needs to be triggered when the event gets triggered, which is on, let's call this handle contact creation. Now where are we going to define this function? Go to server.js, and in the export, just define it like this: function args, and then put a comma here because this is an object, and that's done. Now what does this args denote? Args is nothing but the exact event payload that comes from SurveySparrow. So let's say a contact gets created in SurveySparrow, you can get that event payload of that contact in this args over here. When I console log it, you can see what will be displayed here. Okay, let me just remove this on submission complete because we no longer need this, and let me just remove this on submission complete over here because we're only going to focus on creating contacts. Got it? Now let me quickly run this application. Great. So it is asking us to visit this link over here. So you cannot preview the serverless on your SurveySparrow account. You should only do it via this link. So I'll show you what this link denotes. Let me copy this and paste it on my browser. Now here, if you click on the select events tag, you will find the on contact create. This is nothing but the event that we specified in here. Okay, so whatever the events that you specify within this events object, it will be listed over here. And if you click on this on contact create, you will receive the sample payload. This is not the actual payload from SurveySparrow, this is the sample payload. Now where does this payload come from? If you go to the test data over here, in there you will find on contact create.json, and this is the exact sample payload. So if you change some code here, it will also be reflected over here as well. Now, what does this simulate button denote? Simulate button allows you to simulate an event trigger that actually happens in SurveySparrow. Since your application is running in a local environment, you can actually see what are the events that gets triggered in SurveySparrow. In that case, this simulate function will allow you to see how exactly that happens. That is all this. You can consider this as a sandbox environment. Now, if I click on this simulate button, this handler function will get called, and this console log should take place. Let's check now. Yes, we got it. We got the exact payload that we have placed it over here. Okay. So this is how this events work. Now, what are we going to do next? We need to send the data. We need to create the contact on Bravo. Got it? So we've got the data over here. We'll name this contact data, and we'll name this as args. And if you scroll down a little bit, if you go to the Bravo application, we will be using, this is the website you have to visit, which is nothing but developers.bravo.com/reference/create contact. So this is the API route we will be eating to actually create the contact. Got it? Now if you scroll down a little more, you will find this Node.js application here. Since we're using serverless, right? Just copy this entire code. And go to your application and paste it at the top. And after placing it, just copy all the code up until the default kind. Don't copy the require function. And then paste it below this. Got it? So now we have the contact data over here, we have the args, everything. We have got the default client. I'll walk you through what this code does, but for now just understand that this is how we are going to send the data to Bravo. Now, what does this package denotes? Usually what happens is we send an API call to a third-party application to actually create any data on their service. That is how the process usually works. But here, Bravo actually provides us a package called SIB API v3 SDK. So this package allows us to make the API call seamlessly without any problems here. Now, we need to install this package, right? So how are we going to do that? The first thing is, let me open a new terminal. Let me run the command npm install this exact package over here. I'm doing this on the root directory. Oh, sorry, I need to copy this one over here. Yes, we have installed the package now. And after that, we need to specify the version of that package in the manifest.json. That is mandatory. So any package that you install in a serverless application, you have to specify that package within the manifest.json. Okay. So now here, dependencies, and in there you have to specify the name of this package, which is this one, and then the version of this package over here. So how do I get the version? In the terminal, just run the command npm list. You will see all the packages over here, and you can see the package of this is 8.5.0. Done. Now let me close the terminal and run it again. Okay, it's the error is nothing but we have created a contact data, but you have not used the variable. That's not an issue. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly console log this over here. This will prevent the error. And also the next thing we need is the Bravo API key. That is what we need to pass it over here. So usually we will be using the request methods in our SSDK CLI to make the API calls, right? Now if you go to the SDK documentation and in there click on features, go to request methods, you will find certain methods that we have, certain built-in methods such as this window.client.request and the fetch. And this fetch is what you need to use in the server side, that is for serverless application, to make any third-party applications, correct, right? Now in the authorization, you will usually be passing the placeholder for the actual values. That is how you do it. But this time, since we are using a package provided by Bravo, you should not do it that way. You have to use another method which iparams provides. If you go to iparams, if you scroll down a little more, you can see there is something called $iparams.get. So this will allow you to get all the iparams data like an object, in the form of an object. I'll show you how. In here, first we need to get iparams equal to, the syntax is iparams.get, and in this iparams.get I have to pass in iparams.brevo API key. So we will quickly create this iparams properties in a few minutes, and I'll just set this as brevo let brevo API key. Now we need to set the iparams now, right? Otherwise it won't work. So what I'll do, let me quickly go to this iparams.json, and in there you have to paste in some key value pairs, which you can find in the documentation. If you click on configuration, go to installation parameters, scroll down a little bit, you will find this sample code here. Let me copy that, paste it in your application, and in here just replace this to brevo API key. Don't replace the product needs to be SurveySparrow. Just replace this property, brevo API key. Let me also remove this is not needed. So you have the brevo API key, and that's done. So when I run the application now, it will ask whenever the user installs this application, they will be prompted with entering the API key for this property, which is brevo API key. Let me quickly run this. Is assigned. Okay, we have to console log it. Brevo API key, got it. Now if I rerun the application again, cool, it is asking us to visit this link over here. So what I'll do, I'll go to my SurveySparrow account, and in there, if you go to settings, apps integration, dev equal to true. If you go to this URL, you will find your SurveySparrow account, SurveySparrow application at the bottom. So this is the application. It is showing uninstalled because you have specified some iparams values, right? If I click on this, it will take me to another page where you have to specify your brevo key. So how do we get this brevo key? You just go to your brevo dashboard, and in there, click on this toggle button here, go to SMTP and API, and click on this API section over here, create a new one. Let me call this brevo API key. Generate this. Now you will receive a new API key. Let me copy this, go to your installation page, paste it over here, and then click on the install button. Now your installation parameters are done successfully. And if you close this tab and go to your SurveySparrow account, you can see the toggle has been shifted to installed. Now if you want to see the iparams values are specified, go to your application, click on the .ssdk folder, click on local store, and you can see the exact value that you passed in. That is the exact brevo API key that you passed in while installing the app. Now this is done as well. So through this method over here, now you can access any key, any iparams values that you specified in this iparams key value pairs. Okay, so let's say there could be other values as well. Like you could ask the user to enter their name, you could ask the user for SurveySparrow API key, so on. So any values, you can just get it within your application using this iparams.get function. Got it? So we've got our API key over here, and the next thing would be we need to specify this over here. Okay, brevo API key. So API key.API key. We are telling Brevo that this is the API key we are going to use, and we need the API instance, and there is a create contact variable, and we are specifying this variable here. Now we need to specify the actual email that we got from the contact, correct? So what are the various values that we can get? Let me just quickly copy that code from my previous project. Now that I've copied the code, now let me just remove this codes here, which is create contact.email and the list IDs. We don't need that, and I'll replace that with this one. So the exact email that we get from the event payload, you can get it with this fields here. In the args, you have to go to the data property, and in the data you have to go to the attributes, and after the attributes you have to go to the email. If you want some reference, you can see it over here. This is the entire args, and you have to go within the data, you have to go within the attributes, and you have to go within the email. Got it? So this is how you'll get it. And the same goes for first name and the last name. And make sure these fields are in Bravo. These are all default fields that are present in Bravo, but make sure you have these in the Bravo as well. Okay. You can also add custom fields in Bravo and use that field here like this: create contact / some custom field, whatever field that you entered in Bravo, and you can pass in the value that with the help of this args. Got it? That's done. The next thing would be to call this function and passing this create contact object over here, and then we need to get this data if the contact is successfully migrated to Bravo. Got it? Now let me quickly stop the server and rerun it once. Super. Now let me go to my application and click on this on contact create, and I will just quickly change this John Doe to something else because this John Doe is already created in my Bravo account. So if I try it again, it will throw duplicate error. So I will remove this and name this a proper email. Now this is my email ID. Let me just click on the simulate button. Yes, as you can see here, API call successfully, return data, ID is to 12. To check if the contact is actually created in Bravo, what we need to do, let's go to our Bravo dashboard. This is our Bravo dashboard, right? And in here on the left, you can find contacts. If you scroll down a little bit, you will find the naveenrkofficial@gmail.com. That is the email that I've created recently. That is the contact that I've created recently. Got it? So let me click on this to see all the fields, if it's there or not. Yes, we have the email. Yes, done. Okay. Now that everything is done, the last thing we need is actually, let's just remove this one. We know the list IDs. So for the email, we need to get the email from the event payload, right? That event payload is args. And then within the args, there's going to be something called data. Within the data, you have to go within the attributes, and in there you will find the actual email of that contact. Got it? So we have passed that email to create contact object, and we are passing that create contact object to this API instant create contact function. Got it? So when the contact gets created in Bravo successfully, this function will start to run. If it throws an error, then this function will start to run. So we need basically this code to execute. So we have the app running now. Let me go to my simulation here, and let me change this. Since I have this email already, let me change this to another email of mine, naveen2003@gmail.com. I have specified the email, there is phone number, everything. Let me just click on simulate here. Yes, done. So API is called successfully and it returned the data ID 13. That is the 13th contact has been created for me. So if I go to my Bravo contact here, Bravo application, and if from the home page, I want you to click on this contacts button here, and in there, you on the top, you will find the new contact that has been recently created. So it is created with the email that you passed, that is you specified over here. So this is how you work with serverless application, and this time we saw how to integrate Bravo with SurveySparrow. Likewise, there are many events that you can exploit. There are many events in the sdk.surveysparrow.dev website. Please feel free to explore everything and try to build apps that solves the business requirements for SurveySparrow. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.